Hello everybody, this is Dominus Orbis, and today I'm going to do Packet Tracer 1.4.1.3 EIGRP Skill Integration Challenge. And the scenario is a network technician new to a company that has lost its last technician in the middle of a system upgrade. You're tasked with completing upgrades to the network infrastructure that has two locations. We're going to be dealing with a dual stack, IPv4 and IPv6. And some routing and switching technologies. Alright, the first step here is we need to subnet the 192.168.1.0/24 into two VLANs with 120 hosts on the branch 3 router. Let's pull up the packet tracer here. Over here. And 60 hosts also on the branch 3. So we're dealing with this over here, which I've already done. Here's my subnetting. The yellow's the network bits. This is VLAN 10, VLAN 20, host B, which we'll use the second address in the VLAN 20. And here's the interfaces on the branch 3 router, the subinterfaces I should say. Okay, let's get started. Need to do inter VLAN routing, router on a stick. Here we go. On router on a stick, always enable the main interface first. Looks like it's already been done. Don't forget your encapsulation.1Q. We're dealing with VLAN 10 first. And that IP is going to be this one right here, 1.1. Let's keep this open here. And that's /25, so 255.255.128. And then we're also going to be doing the G00.20 encapsulation.1Q. It's the protocol for the VLAN 20, and the IP is 1.129/26 on this one. Alright, looks good. To write, to save your running config. Configure inter VLAN routing. First available interface address on the subinterfaces, which I already did. Second address on the VLAN faculty staff, that's a VLAN 20, goes to host B. This guy right here. Next, we're going to enable EIGRP for IPv4 on branch 3. Autonomous system is 22. Advertise all the directly connected networks. That's all the sub-interfaces. Disable automatic summarization. Prevent routing loops. That's going to be the passive interfaces on all the sub-interfaces. And going to configure summary route for the branch 3 LANs. advertised to branch 1 and 2. So we're going to advertise those on the serial 001 and 0000. I already did the summaries too. The .00 here is the, we'll come back to it, but that's a gigabit 01 interface. And then a 240, 1.240 is going to be the gigabit 00.88. Have your network statements for all the directly connected networks. And as you see here, I get a message from the dual algorithm. I got a new adjacency on my serial interface over there. 001 with the branch of 0. And I should get one from branch 2 as soon as I add this last network statement here. And there it goes. Okay, what's the next step? Disable automatic summarization. Passive interfaces on all those sub-interfaces. Okay, that's it for the EIGRP for now. We just need to set up these summary addresses on both serials. Which I have here. Matching bits, 23. Here's my summary. at those adjacencies popping up. It's 1, right? Yes. And then up arrow, up arrow. All right, let's look at the routing table here. D for dual algorithm. Whenever you create a summary route, it automatically creates a null zero interface. That way, any packets that are directed to that are just avoided, pretty much, to avoid routing loops. There's my summary route. Okay. Looks good. All right, now we need to create a default route on branch 1 pointing to the ISP and propagate it within the EIGRP updates. This lab is kind of confusing and disorganized, so be sure you read every sentence and go in order. Should be like that. Let's see if Packet Tracer likes it. Yes, that's it. And then propagate. Redistribute the route. Like so. I'm going to do right. Copy my running config there. And moving on. Now, let's configure DHCP on branch 3. Pool students, going to be from VLAN 10. Exclude the first 10 addresses. DNS server, also don't forget the default router. And then we'll move on to branch 1. Remember that VLAN 10 starts here. So we're going to exclude 1.1 all the way to 1.10. The default router will be 1.1. Let's do that on branch 3. Okay, good. And I always exclude my addresses first, that way they are not issued whenever the pool is created. I think it's net mask. Nope. Okay. Don't forget the default router here. I'm going to do a write. Go back to my branch 1 to receive an IPv4 address from the ISP. So that's going to be a DHCP client. And then we're going to configure host A and to get a DHCP address. Okay, so we're in branch 1 here. So we need to go into the interface at gigabit 00, the one facing the internet here. And the command to make it a client to receive its DHCP assigned address from the internet service provider is going to be IP address DHCP. That's it. Do right. And host A, where are you? Right here. It's going to set that up for DHCP. Should be 1.11 if it's working correctly. No, of course not. It will later, but that's because this switch 3 over here, F1, F01, F02, 03, and 04, are disabled. So we can come back to that one. We'll leave it open. Let's read over IPv6 routing. We're going to have to enable the IPv6 unicast routing. Don't forget to do that. That's in the global config mode. Enable IPv6 routing. That's what that means. EIGRP. Remember, you have to issue a no shutdown under the router config mode. Autonomous system number for this one is 222. Have to manually assign the router ID using an EIGRP router ID command. Advertise directly connected networks. There are no network statements in EIGRP for IPv6. Rather, you have to go into the interface and enable the autonomous system number. Create IPv6 summary routes for the LANs and advertise them. And then a fully specified default route. We'll come back to that one. Alright, I already did my summaries here. Right here are the bit values. And the matching bit is a 63rd bit. Here are the LANs for branch 7. Let's just go up here real quick. Branch 7. So we got this LAN and this one. Here's my summary. Okay, looks good. And as you can see, Microsoft Office is wonderful. Give me an error message, but it did not close, thankfully. As I was saying, here's my summary. We'll be configuring this EIGRP for IPv6 on branch 7. Okay, we're almost done. This right side over here is IPv6. This left side here is IPv4. It doesn't ask us to make these LANs passive, but it's best practice, so we should go ahead and do that. And actually, Packet Tracer is incrementing its point value when I did that, so it must be something it wanted us to do. And we're going to need to enable that on both the serial interfaces. The other serial 001. Okay, that looks good. Now for my summary routes. We don't have any D's here for dual algorithm because I did not enable that. With the no shutdown command. There's my adjacency once I did that. And my other serial interface there. Let's just repeat that command, and there's my duals. Here they are. Okay, looks good. Now, fully specified default route on branch 4 pointing to the ISP. And then we're going to redistribute that. Now I need to redistribute that or propagate it in the routing protocol. There we go. I'm going to do write to copy my running config. And we're ready to move on to the next step. Now we're going to set up that switch 3 over there. Get rid of all those red lights. Oh, basic switch security with the message of the day, console port login, encrypted password for the enable, and the service password encryption. Shut down all unused ports and ideally put them in a black hole VLAN. And then do port security on the edge ports or the ports facing the LANs. Let's get started. shut down all unused ports. So as you can see from the topology over here, we're going to use F01 all the way to F04, 11, 15, and 24. But not gigabit 01 nor 02. So we can just interface a range command here. 5 through 10, 12 through 14, 16 through 23, and gigabit 01 and 2. Shut those bad boys down. Also, I'm going to go ahead and make them access. Let's wait for that. Okay. Remember to always back up your config. Do right. Do it right. Alright. Okay, we're done with that part right here. Now we're going to enable port security on the interfaces on the edge ports facing the LAN. Configures access ports. Only allow one host per port. Going to make the port security sticky. Disable the ports if there's a violation. That's restrict. And then port fast and BPDU guard, bridge protocol data unit guard. So if it receives a bridge protocol data unit in a spanning tree, in other words, somebody connects a switch to that, then the port will be in error disabled mode. Port fast switches it to forwarding automatically, skipping all the other states. Go online faster. Sorry, it's not restrict. It's shut down. Okay, there we go. And then port fast and BPDU. So that's going to be spanning tree, port fast. And pay attention to these messages when you're using live equipment. And then the same thing for F0/24. Now time to create these VLANs. Create VLANs based on the VLAN table. Configure. Assign the switch ports S3 to the VLANs according to the VLAN table. Configure connection between S3 and branch 3 and S1 as a trunk. And assign it to VLAN 99. Okay. The VLAN table is up here. Right here. Don't forget your native. We're still on switch 3. Okay, what's next? Now we're going to go to switch 1. You can make a trunk between that and branch 3. All right. It's in the 99 native VLAN. And I need to issue a no on this command here. Okay, looks good. What's next? Spanning tree. I'm going to go back into S3 and configure rapid spanning tree as the mode for spanning tree protocol. S3 is a root bridge for VLANs 10 and 20, and the secondary bridge for VLANs 30. No space after the comma. Secondary for 30. All right, looks good. And then the same thing on 1, but in reverse order. Secondary for VLAN 10 and 20, primary for VLAN 30. And the spanning tree mode as rapid. Okay, last thing, trunking an ether channel. There's 3 interfaces connected S1 and 2. That's F01 through F04 as trunks and assigned to native. We can do this in the port channel. The mode will be desirable. Channel group 2 for trunks to S2. Channel group 3 for trunks to S1. Assigned to native VLAN. Alright, let's do it. We're on S3 here. I've already done this, but we need to set F01 through 4 as trunk. Done. And assign the native VLAN, which is 99. Okay, looks good. Ether channel, it's going to be interface, port channel 2. Go ahead and put it in trunk mode. And native VLAN. Okay. For channel group 2, we're going to do the interfaces going to switch 2, so 3 and 4, F03 and 4. The command is channel group mode desirable. Nope. Oh, that's right. Channel group 2, then mode desirable port aggregation protocol unconditionally. So we're going to use the Cisco proprietary. And we also need to go ahead and issue a no shut. And we need to go back into that port channel and issue a no shut as well. Okay, we're going to do the same thing for channel group 3. And that's going to be the switch between switch 3 and 1, so F0, 1, and 2 interfaces. Okay, that's it. I just looked at the results here under the check results. Looks pretty good. Forgot to do a few things. And I wrote them down. So let's start with branch 3 router. Need to set the gigabit 00 as a passive interface. Thought I did that though. Okay, there we go. Branch 7, need to enable EIGRP version 6 on both gigabit interfaces. Okay. Then on switch 3, interface F024, port security. I thought I did that as well. No, apparently not. Okay. Okay, and back over here on branch 7, here, packet tracer does not like that range command, even though it's correct. last thing, host A, remember? The DHCP is successful now, and I said it would get .11, which it did. That's looking good. Just set up the passive interface right here. But okay. That's strange. And there we go. Looks good. Again, this is Dominus Orbis. This has been Packet Tracer 1.4.1.3 EIGRP Skill Integration Challenge. And I hope this video has been informative, and I want to thank you for viewing.